What's up, everybody? Smoove Cosplayer here, your favorite salsa dancing cosplayer, bringing you another episode of Smoove Conversations. My honored guest with me tonight is Mr. Static Jones. Static, how you doing tonight, man?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me.
No problem, man. Thank you for coming on with me, man. It's good to have you on here, man. So, Static, when did you fall in love with cosplay?
Man, since I was in high school, I've seen clips on YouTube of people going to conventions back in the old days of YouTube. And I've always thought that was kind of cool. You get to dress up as your favorite character and go to conventions. But I didn't start doing it till 2011.
Okay. So how would you say your cosplay journey has been? Like how's it come along then? How has cosplay changed since you started? How have you changed since you started? All of that.
My journey has been awesome. I started as a guy who just collected stuff from the thrift store and put it together. That's how I came up with Casey Jones. Okay. Like I went to an old sporting goods store and got a whole bunch of used sporting goods, including a golf bag, hockey stick, baseball bat, and then I had the mask made for me from a friend. He's no longer working on props anymore, but he made that mask for me. Like, you've seen photos of me as Casey Jones from the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. You sound a lot like me. Like, I call myself a costume assembler, if that makes sense. Like, the only thing I've ever made from scratch, I want to say the majority of my Rain cosplay. Other than that, everything has either been commissioned or I just bought this from this place, bought that from that place. Like, I hit up the Army surplus stores a lot for my G.I. Joe cosplays. I've gone to Play It Again Sports, like my Bishop. I do the version of Bishop where he had like that cybernetic arm. So that arm is basically just catcher's shin guards, basically. That
was awesome, dude. Though, like that's one of my favorite cosplays of yours. To be honest.
Thank you. And it's good to hear that because whenever I put that one on, I prepared myself to not get recognized at all. I prepared myself to not get recognized as Bishop, and I prepared myself to not get asked for a picture. So I mean, with all that, all that stuff is icing on the cake to me. I don't particularly care that it doesn't happen, but when it does happen, then I'm like, okay, yes, thank you. But yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. But yeah, let that be a lesson to y'all at home. You've heard me say it many times, y'all. You don't have to make your own stuff. If somebody tells you otherwise, they're elitist and they just looking for an excuse to set themselves apart and make themselves think they're better than you. Don't be afraid to not make your stuff. Don't be afraid to ask somebody to make it for you, to pay somebody to make it for you. Don't be afraid to go to the thrift store, like Static said, go to the Army surplus store, Play It Again Sports, local costume shops. If you got to party city it up and doctor it up or do whatever, do you. That's all I'm saying. Do you. Yo, so you said Casey was your first one, right?
Oh, actually, Static Shock was.
Static Shock, gotcha. Okay, cool. Now, is that where you got your cosplay name from? Was it just a play on that?
Yeah, it's basically mixing my first two cosplays I've ever done together. It's Static Shock, and then you have Casey Jones, Static Jones.
I love it. So with Casey Jones, when did you start getting into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Was that since childhood?
Oh boy. I fell in love with it a little later. Like, my very first television show I saw as a kid was Batman the Animated Series, and then the Ninja Turtles, and then the Power Rangers.
Gotcha.
Yes, and I didn't see the movie until a little later in my life, but I'm glad I did. And when I saw Casey, I think I was around 9 years old when I saw the first movie.
Okay.
And I always thought Casey Jones was awesome. You have this dude fighting crime with sporting goods. That is awesome.
Wow, dang, it's taking me back because like I remember getting into the cartoon. I didn't even know there was a comic book out about it. I don't even know which one came.
Oh yeah,
but
yeah. Most of the stuff that happened in the first movie are inspired by the original comic. That's why you heard most of the turtles swear in the comic. It's a bit more brutal than it was in the cartoon, and plus it plays off the Foot Clan as the main villain and not Crane.
Right. Yeah, because I don't think we ever got Krang in any of the movies, did we?
Oh, we did in the Michael Bay CGI movies, but
there we go. Okay.
They're okay. I'm not gonna bash it. They're okay. It's some stuff that could have been better, but it wasn't horrible.
Yeah, I haven't gotten into those yet. I'm gonna have to go back and look, but I started to realize that about a lot of stuff, like you said, with the movies being based on the comic and not the cartoon, and realizing that the cartoon and the comic were so different. A lot of stuff we grew up with was that way. I've said that a lot about Transformers and G.I. Joe, like the comic and the cartoon both happen at the same time, so they automatically from the jump are going in two different directions, having two different continuities, I guess. So once I went back and realized that's what kind of made me calm down from being so hardcore against the things that happen in movies. Like, you didn't do this right, you didn't do that right, and I'm like, there's multiple universes going on all the time. So it's like, why am I being so mad? I don't like these changes, but that's why it doesn't make sense to be so outraged over this thing getting changed in the movie when things have been changing with other stuff for so long anyway. It doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, you're right.
All right. So question, your one thing I love about you, and I think a lot of people know you for, wrestling mashups. So tell me when you started becoming obsessed with wrestling.
Right around the time when I was in kindergarten, and the first match I saw on television was my dad had me go visit a friend of his, and his son was watching a pay-per-view on television, and it was a WWF pay-per-view.
Wow.
And it was Austin versus The Undertaker at SummerSlam, I believe.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, it was Austin versus Taker at SummerSlam, and I remember I remember hearing kids talk about how awesome Stone Cold Steve Austin was.
Mm-hmm.
And then I finally get to see for myself, and I was like, all right, he really is cool.
Gotcha. Wait, so this was after the merger, right? This was after WWF and WCW. Well, after WWF bought, I guess, WCW.
Oh no, it was before. This was when Austin was starting to really become a man.
Right. I'm sorry, I got my facts wrong because he came over first, and then much later on, everybody else in WCW. Okay, I got you. I messed all that up. Yeah. This was
right at the beginning of the Attitude Era.
Okay. Gotcha. Let me see because I know for me, like ironically, my mom got me into it. My dad couldn't stand wrestling, but my mom got me into it. So this is on some old late 80s, early 90s WCW. Because I remember when Steve Austin was stunning Steve Austin and not Stone Cold Steve Austin. Back when we actually had hair. Him and Flying Brian.
With Brian Pillman.
Yeah, rest in peace. So the Hollywood Blondes, I believe the names was. Yeah, Diesel back when he was Vinny Vegas. Let me see who else.
Sting still had the blonde hair.
Yeah, the blonde hair with all the vibrant colors before he went like crow and everything.
Yeah.
Let me see. Razor Ramon before, like when Razor Ramon actually first showed up, and then I saw the promo for him showing up, like sitting on at some restaurant and treating the waiter super bad, and
oh man, those were the days, man.
Yeah, man. Seeing Shawn Michaels turn heel, hitting Marty Jannetty with the super kick or the sweet chin music rather, like seeing change over. Like I'm so out of practice now though. Like I can name a few people, but like people that you would probably say are big, I probably wouldn't even recognize. I'm just so that far out of touch with it.
Well, the new thing that's out now is this company called AEW. Like,
yeah, I heard that one. I haven't dove into that yet, but I know it's a thing.
Yeah, it's really good. They have a lot of great young stars that's coming up, and plus you got veterans who are kind of coaching them. Like Sting, he's there. You got Chris Jericho. You got Arn Anderson, who is a backstage guy.
Nice.
They got the Big Show as a commentator now. They got Mark Henry as a commentator.
Wow. Hey, yeah. Now, where does that come on at? Is that all? That's not all pay-per-view, is it? Is this all like just on cable?
It's on TNT every Wednesday, and they're about to have a second show on Fridays called AEW Rampage. Gotcha.
Yeah. Hearing you say all the people who are commentators, I'm like, this ain't no like amateur or like low key type thing. I'm like, if those guys are the commentators, I'm like, this thing got to be legit.
And get this, the two men that are the main commentators there right now is Jim Ross and Tony Schiavone.
Yes, good old Tony Schiavone. That takes me back, man. I heard that voice as soon as you said it. Dude, that's crazy. That's taking me back. So who sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna ask who would you say were like your wrestling heroes growing up?
Oh, that's easy, man. It's a three-way tie between Stone Cold Steve Austin, Sting, and The Rock.
Nice. Now, what drew you to all three of them? Like what sets them apart to you from everybody else?
Austin, because he motivated me to defend myself. Like he even when the odds was against Austin, he stuck his two middle fingers up and said, "You know what? Let's do this. Let's go." And he pretty much motivated me to stand up for myself against bullies, because I got picked on a lot back then.
Yeah.
And you can kind of say the same thing for Sting, because at times back in the day when Sting became the Crow character, he took on the entire NWO by himself, knowing that he was outnumbered. For the sake of the story, I know it felt fake, but for the sake of the story, you have this one guy finna go up to a group of men with a baseball bat, and he actually holds his own. That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah. Wow.
And as for The Rock, I mean, he's charismatic as all heck, man. Like, he had all the catchphrases. He was funny. He was athletic. Like, the dude was a total package.
Yeah.
You know?
Man, dude, that's so inspiring to hear you say that. Like, those guys, Steve Austin and Sting, motivated you to stand up for yourself. Because, like, you know, things like wrestling, pretty much anything that we geeks like, video games, comics, all of that, everybody, it's so easy for them to say, oh, well, that's a waste of time, that's for little kids, there's nothing you can get out of that. To hear you say that they inspired you to stand up to your bullies, like that, if that ain't a lesson to, you know, to keep watching the things that we love, if that's not a lesson to do that, I don't know what is. Like that's amazing to me. Who's your favorite tag team of all time?
Ooh, I would have to go with the Dudley Boys.
Nice.
The Dudleys, I respect them because they came a long way, because they started out as an ECW.
Yeah, that's just what I was about to ask. I was like, they didn't start out in WWF. They came from somewhere else. That was Extreme Championship Wrestling, right?
Yeah. And they pretty much won every tag team gold there is. Like, they won the New Japan tag titles. They won ECW. They won the WCW, and they won the WWE tag titles. And of course, who can forget the TLC rivalry with Edge and Christian and the Hardys?
Yeah. That was a three-way, wasn't it? It was like them, Edge and Christian, and another tag team too, wasn't it?
And the Hardys.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay. Wow. Yeah, because that went on for a while, didn't it?
Yeah. They had at least 3 feuds out of it. They had 3 TLC matches together.
Dang. Wow. This is woof. I'm trying to figure out when that was. That was either late 90s or early 2000s, one of the two, or maybe, or am I this man?
It was early 2000s.
Okay. Because all of my stuff that I'm remembering is starting to. Once I get past the Attitude Era, it starts to. Because I think that's when I started phasing out. After the Attitude Era, early 2000s, that's when I kind of fell off.
Mm-hmm.
So then I'm like, I have roommates who still would like order pay-per-views. So like if they was watching it, I was watching it. So I wasn't as invested, but if it's on, I'm gonna sit down and watch it, you know. Because I think the last thing I vividly remember, I don't remember what this was. WrestleMania, I don't remember what number. Undertaker and Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
And I think Shawn Michaels was trying to end his streak. And I forget what was on the line. I don't know if Shawn Michaels had to retire or whatever.
That's it.
Yeah. So
Undertaker said, if you can't beat me, I'd take your soul, which means he had to end his career if he didn't beat the Undertaker.
Wow. Yeah. So that I remember Shawn Michaels was pretty much done, and Undertaker was like, "Bro, stay down." Shawn Michaels slapped him, and you seen his look on Undertaker's face, like, "Did you just do that?" And you know how normally he hits somebody with the tombstone, he just kind of gets on his tippy toes and then drops.
Yeah,
jumped and got some.
Yeah, I remember that.
Do that.
But Taker said, like, I tried to show you mercy, but no.
He's like, I tried, bro. Like, I was trying. I wanted to let you down easy, but you wouldn't let me. Now you got to go. Man,
yeah.
That's the last thing I vividly remember. After that, it was just, you know, I'll see it here and there, but you know, I just hadn't been invested in it since then. So when did you decide to start mixing wrestling with basically mixing wrestling with your cosplay?
Well, one of my favorite wrestling styles is lucha libre. As I see, besides the 3 wrestlers that I named, there were a lot of lucha libres that I thought were really cool back in the day. You had guys like Rey Mysterio, La Parca, Psychosis, and Juventud Guerrera, and ever since then I've been like a fan of lucha libre wrestling and the whole tradition behind it, all the mask and everything.
Yeah.
And one day I just thought, and then you had this show that came on not too long ago called Lucha Underground, where they pretty much brought all these luchadors from Mexico and have them fight in American television. And that's what motivated me to bring out my El Pikachu cosplay.
So that was the first one.
Yep.
Wow. So that, how many would you say you got by now? Because I've seen several. I don't know how many. I think I've lost count by now.
Well, I only have 2 luchadors right now.
Okay.
But I have cosplayed other wrestlers in the past. Like I cosplayed CM Punk at BlerDCon. I cosplayed Ric Flair at DragonCon one year. And I did Sting for Halloween one year.
Okay.
And of course I did Kane at Anime Week in Atlanta.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. I had every once in a while, well, not every once in a while, since COVID happened, every other month or so I catch the No Con Blues. So I start watching old cosplay music videos, and I saw I forget if it was Akio Boy's video or the Pre-Gamers, one of the two. There's a scene of you as Kane walking down the hall, and there's like lines of people on each side, and they're like cheering you on as if you actually were going down to the ring.
Yeah, that was the Akio Boy video.
Yeah. Man. So you killed all of those, and you got El Pichu. Then then you beat me to the Luchador Black Panther. I was, dude, but I saw you from a distance at MomoCon, and like 99% of me was like, that's dope, and that 1% of me was like, damn it, I didn't pull the trigger fast enough, because I literally had the mask in my cart and just kept procrastinating about buying it, and I was just like, you know what, I gotta give it to him. I should have pulled the trigger. But yeah, that was dope. I was like, man, hey, that just means we need to be tag team partners or something. But
yeah, totally, man. I'm still down for that, man.
Man, we gotta find a way to rent a wrestling ring or something, because we gotta find a way to have a shoot with the actual ring.
Exactly. Like the thing about my luchador cosplays, whenever I collaborate with a photographer, we could never get a wrestling ring.
Yeah, it's hard. Like I've tried a few times to like find local rings in Atlanta, and I can never get responses. So like I'll call or I'll email, and I don't get anything back. So apparently it ain't the easiest thing in the world to do.
Yeah. So when I did the Kane photo shoot, my buddy Chase of Affliction Cosplay Photography, what he did was, like, we shot this right in front of his place. His girlfriend got us some tissue, lit it up with kerosene, and then set it on fire, and that's how we did the shoot. And I was standing in front of the fire.
Wow. How now did you feel those flames?
It was cold outside, so I welcomed it.
Okay.
It was really cold, man. Like, I had one arm that was exposed, and I was freezing. Everything was okay, except that my left arm, because that was the only thing that was exposed out in that cold weather. And we had that fire behind me. It was making everything much better.
Wow. Note to y'all at home: if y'all decide to do any shoots involved with fire, just do it in the cold. So y'all
be careful with it though. Be careful with it though.
Yes, that too, because don't flames. That's not a good look. It's not a good look. Now I'm peeping your shirt. That 616, is that related to the main timeline of the main universe of Marvel, or is that something that's completely different?
It has something to do with a YouTube channel that I watch called the 616 Entertainment. It's a guy by the name Ian. Like, I think that's what he named he did name his channel based off of that though.
Okay.
But he pretty much does video game retrospectives, and he does horror retrospectives for Halloween. So yeah, he went through the entire Mortal Kombat library.
Wow.
In a retrospective. It took like 4 parts to do it.
Ooh. Okay, I'm glad I asked, because that sparked my interest there. So I'm like, I'm gonna go check that out, because I always love watching. Like, before I go to bed, I'm just like, I'm not that person who can get done with work or get home or get done with the kids and then just go to bed. So I use my PS4 more for watching YouTube than I do for playing video games. But,
Same here.
Yeah, so I end up just watching anything geeky, documentaries on stuff. Like, I had a wrestling documentary binge for a while, getting to know like what happened with wrestlers before they blew up and all that kind of stuff. Like you said, video game documentaries, going back through that stuff with Dragon Ball Z, stuff with anything Marvel. Like, I keep up with what was it? I know we were talking about Comics Explained on Facebook not too long ago.
Right.
With that, Cosmic Wonder, all them other kind of people. These people did not pay me to mention them. This is no sponsorship or nothing like that. These just people I genuinely be looking at. But yeah, I might actually just link that in the description there, because I need to go back and look at it myself too. Now, but speaking of Marvel, how are you feeling about everything happening in the MCU? And like, do you keep up with the comics too?
Not lately. It's just nothing in the comics is really exciting me much. So I've been paying more attention to the MCU.
Gotcha.
And plus, I've been trying to read more indie stuff. I'm trying to support more Black content creators.
Yeah.
because I'm just tired of both Marvel and DC turning characters black instead of just using the ones they already got or make new ones. You know?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to support the black content creators, the guys who make the black mangas, the black comic books. And so I go to all these conventions. Like I met a lot of them at BlerDCon, and I'm currently reading some right now.
Yo, I'm gonna remind me. I need to come back to you on that and ask you what you're reading, because I definitely want to help spread the word on those things, because we do need to get, you know, I don't know why I'm searching for words, but yes, we need to get the word out about those things. Because like if we're gonna preach about representation, if we're gonna get, you know, if we're going to say, hey, we need more of this, we need more of that, we got to support it when it happens. I'm guilty as anybody for not actually, you know, buying the stuff. So I need to, not to get religious, I need to repent of that, you know, because we can't say we need this and then don't support it when it happens. You know, I had I don't know if I want to say breakthrough or epiphany, but recently, like, so I used to disagree with the whole, because I know I've known you felt like that for a while. Like, stop making these other characters black, or don't change this character to be a different gender, or don't change this, don't change that. I used to disagree with that, but now I'm on board with it. Now, because I used to be like, well, not used to. I still, for the most part, feel this way about the whole. If y'all, when I say y'all, I'm talking about the just creators in general. If y'all would have made stuff diverse from the jump, we wouldn't have this issue, right? So I used to, you know, so I still feel that way, but I no longer I'm on the boat of, well, as long as we get this representation, it doesn't matter to me whether we change somebody to be this or if we get somebody new. Because I also feel like no matter what you do, it's a lose-lose situation. Because if you make somebody new, you're still going to have people who say, oh, why are you ramming this new stuff down our throats? Why are you pushing this in our face? But then if you change somebody that's not black to be black, then, and rightfully so, people are going to get upset because somebody that they grew up with is different now. So I'm just like, you're going to get backlash either way. So I was like, I don't care how it happens. Let's just get it. But what put me over the edge, what changed my mind rather, was I was watching this YouTube video where this woman was like, basically these writers, these creators are being lazy. They're giving us leftovers when they change this character to be this, you know, this character has always been this thing, whether it's an ethnicity, a sex, whatever. When you change them to be something else, to give this other group representation, that group that's getting the more representation, they're getting sloppy seconds, they're getting leftovers, and it's just lazy. And I'm like, you know what? They're onto something, and that's what got me to change my mind about that.
Yeah, and also, if you keep doing that, all the actual black characters that already exist in the comics, they get left on the shelf.
Right.
I'm still waiting for Brother Voodoo to make an MCU appearance. Brother Voodoo is one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, and that's why I love when people cosplay. Now, I've said this a million times. You probably heard it. Y'all watching at home, y'all have heard it. Excuse me. I will defend people who do popular characters to the death. If that's what makes you happy, if that's what's fun to you, go do that. But I also love when people go and cosplay these obscure characters, because there are characters who I had no idea about until somebody cosplayed them. Until my man Damian Allen, Unidentified Man, if you're watching, big shout out to you. He cosplayed Brother Voodoo. I had no idea who he was until my man cosplayed him. I didn't know who. I know my man Bar Fox cosplayed. He cosplayed Vibe one time. I didn't know who.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that, like, so many characters who I didn't know about until somebody cosplayed them. So there's, like you said, there's so many characters that are already out there. Like, how many people? Like, we know who Blue Marvel is, but how many people don't know who Blue Marvel is? How many people don't know the fact that Blue Marvel, could probably, I'm not even gonna get into this fight, but Blue Marvel could probably have a decent fight with Superman.
Oh, let me tell you, Blue Marvel will embarrass Sentry. That's how awesome he is.
Yeah. Man, so we got Blue Marvel. We got I didn't know about Mr. Terrific until somebody cosplayed him.
Right?
Yeah, Frenzy from X-Men. Like, she goes way back, but it's just like nobody knows about her. But she could probably hold her own with Luke Cage. She got the same power set pretty much.
Right, and one thing that kind of triggered me is when. Now, don't get me wrong. I like Riri Williams. I like her, but when she came out, you had people saying we finally got ourselves a black Iron Man, and y'all just straight up disrespected Rhodey. Like,
right.
Like Rhodey, like a lot of people don't know that when Tony Stark was suffering from alcoholism.
Right.
Rhodey was operating the armor.
Yeah,
like in the very first
Iron Man for a while.
Yeah, like in the very first crossover event, the Secret War, Rhodey was operating the suit. It was not Tony.
Yeah, and it's just so many people that don't know that. Like, it's just like you said, there's so much that's already out there that's buried and that could just get brought to the forefront instead of, like you said, changing somebody to be somebody who is traditionally white, Asian, whatever, and making them black. Now, I used to also be on the band of, I don't care if somebody gets changed as long as their ethnicity wasn't central to their character. Like, say, take Magneto and Professor X, for example. I was of the mindset that you could make Professor X black, but you couldn't make Magneto black, because Magneto, what's central to his character is being a Holocaust survivor. Professor X, it really doesn't matter. I mean, yes, he's traditionally white, but it really doesn't matter what he is. Like, nothing about his ethnicity is central to his character. But somebody did some like fan art of not Malcolm X. He played Malcolm X. Denzel Washington. Somebody did a fan art of Denzel Washington as Magneto, and I was like, I can't unsee that now. But they gotta switching gears a bit though. They got to change that somehow, because whenever they do bring him into the MCU, just like they couldn't have Snake Eyes be in the Vietnam War anymore because we've gone too far past that. The MCU keeps up. Actually, the MCU is a few years past where we are now. So they're like, what, 2025 or something like that? 2025, 26, something like that?
Yeah.
You can't have somebody that's a villain be a Holocaust survivor. Even if you're the child of a Holocaust survivor, that's still too old. So I'm interested to see how they're going to flip that, how they're going to make him still the same character, but be relevant.
They could have it where mutants age slowly than normal humans.
True. I can see that. And maybe just have, but then again, that takes away. So once you bring Wolverine in, that kind of takes away from what makes him special, because he's like over 100 years old, so he's like
right.
Yeah. So yeah, so I like that idea, but then that also makes me wonder, how can they reconcile that with Wolverine's character too?
I mean, the MCU made a lot of changes, so
yeah. So this, I think they already officially said that the MCU is universe number blah blah blah, whereas comics is 616, and then there's some other number of universes in the comics. Like, did they say that, or am I forgetting?
I think so. Like, they explained that the MCU now exists in a whole nother universe from the comics. So it's now just an alternate universe, like the Ultimate, the Zombie universe, and of course 616. Gotcha.
So, speaking of characters that don't get enough limelight, characters that we could be pushing up to the forefront, if you could, I normally say questions like this for the end. I'm gonna do some more of these at the end, but skipping ahead to one or two Spitfire questions. If you could handpick any minority character, they don't have to be black, but if you could handpick any minority character and put them in the spotlight, who would it be? Somebody who's not already out there.
Easy. Icon.
Now is that what is that DC Marvel?
He's a milestone character. He exists in the same universe as a Static Shock.
Okay.
But DC got the rights to the whole entire milestone universe. That's what kind of frustrates me about DC. Like, why are you trying to make a black Superman when you got the entire milestone universe in the palm of your hand?
Yeah.
You can make a Static Shock movie. You can make Icon a movie. Because the backstory to Icon is very dark, and they could actually make this today.
Wow. See, you just gave me more fuel there. I need to go look, because I feel like I've heard the name, but I wouldn't have been able to pin it with a face or a power or anything like that. So yes, that you gave me some homework right there.
Also, did you ever watch Young Justice?
I know of it. I never watched it.
Well, Icon and Rocket from the Milestone universe, they actually appeared on that show in the first season. And then Static ended up on the show as well on season 2 and 3.
Okay. Now is Young Justice live action, or was that animated?
It was animated. It was right before Cartoon Network stopped showing a lot of DC animated stuff. So that's why the DC Universe app became a thing, and that didn't work out. So now they're shoving all their animated stuff to HBO Max.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna circle back to the cosplay for a moment, because I know we've had, we all been convention starved. We all been missing the scene, but in some ways, I guess, not missing the scene. How do you feel about just how the cosplay scene, or the cosplay community, I'm gonna put it in quotations because I've heard some people feel like it doesn't even exist. How are you feel? What are your overall thoughts about the cosplay scene as a whole right now?
Some stuff can be better, but I don't really complain about much. When I cosplay, I'm just there to have fun. Because all that drama that happens in the community, I don't really pay much attention to it, because I got enough stuff to worry about it in my regular life,
Yes.
Yeah, because my job is a killer, and I got to worry about bills, and plus I'm also helping taking care of my family. I had to move back in with my folks, and I'm helping to take care of the house.
Yeah.
So when I go out on these conventions, that's when I can finally relax. And so whenever you see me acting wild at a convention, that's a bunch of bent up. Well, I wouldn't say frustration. It's just I've been waiting for that to happen, because I've been doing so much outside of conventions.
Yeah. Man, I feel like if everybody, or at least the vast majority of people, approached it the way you did, we wouldn't be having these problems. We really wouldn't. And that's roughly how I look at it too. Like, I actually was just on the other end of this interview thing last night, and I was asked, what motivates you or keeps you going, and I'm really just like, I keep the play in cosplay. You know what I mean? Like you said, we all got so much else going on in our lives. Why carry it over there? Why take it back to high school? Which I feel like with some people, I feel like we never left high school sometimes. I'm like, did we not leave this back then? Weren't we trying to get away from this? But yeah,
exactly.
Same. So I'm just like, it's part of my escape. You don't want to do the escapism thing too deep to where you're completely detached from responsibilities. But this is supposed to be an escape for us. We're supposed to do this to get away from the drama, to get away from the stress. Don't cause more when you're there. But like I said, if more people had that mindset, I think we wouldn't even be talking about drama. We wouldn't even be talking about controversies and all that. I mean, not to make light of other things, because there are certain things that happen that are legit issues that need to happen. I think too many of us will take something legit that happened, like somebody got abused or somebody got robbed, and file that under drama. I'm like, no, that's not drama. That's some legit ish that needs to be tackled.
Yeah. If somebody's getting abused, we definitely need to call that out.
Right.
That's just part of being a decent human being,
Yeah. So outside of that, you got just drama. It's just like, why have it in a place that you're supposed to be escaping from other drama? We ain't running from one drama to another one. That don't make sense at all.
Exactly.
Yeah. So speaking of cons, like, well, all right, now have you gone to any this year? I mean, I know everybody's just kind of like, it's not as bad as last year, I guess.
We have been. As you know, I'm part of Blerd Over now.
Right.
And we've been going to a lot of small conventions, but the biggest one we've been to so far is BlerDCon.
Mm-hmm.
And despite what you might have heard on social media, it was a great con in my opinion.
Yeah.
I got to meet a lot of cool people. I finally got to meet most of my online friends in person. It was a great event. Like, I'm definitely going back whenever I get the chance.
Gotcha. Now, was that your first time going to BlerDCon?
Absolutely.
Gotcha. So I missed this year now, but I have been the previous 2 years. And let me preface this by saying, for those of y'all that don't know, who are watching at home, the controversy that Static is alluding to is the fact that, BlerDCon, if you don't know what that means, Black Nerd Convention. There's even some controversy about that name, but we ain't gonna touch that.
Let's not get into
I went despite that. I heard about that and I was like, let me check it out for myself. And I had a really good Black geeky time there. So I'm not going to dismiss. Okay, let me back up. The controversy that we're talking about is the fact that it being a Black centered, not exclusively Black, but a Black centered convention, and a white woman won the cosplay contest there, and it wasn't the first time. I agree with many people that is a bad look. That's a horrible look, because it sends several negative messages. It sends the message that, dang, even at a convention where it's supposed to be about us, we still don't come out on top. It sends the message to the naysayers, the haters out there who try to minimize Black people cosplaying. It sends a message to them that, oh, even at y'all own event, y'all still suck, that y'all's cosplay ain't up to par, which ain't true, but that gives them fuel to think that. And to people who have never been, I can understand people who have never been seeing that and feeling like, dang, am I really welcome here if that happened? So I will go on record and say that yes, that is something that needs to be changed. At the time of this recording, Hilton, the guy who is the head of the con, he has come out and announced some changes to the cosplay contest. I've never been to a cosplay contest at a big. Actually, no, I've been to one, and it was a small con. I think you and I were both at River Region Comic Con in 2019. I went to the cosplay contest there. That is the only cosplay contest I've ever attended, because I was like, this is at a small con. I can go to this contest and not feel like I'm missing anything else at the convention. So I say that to say, I don't know firsthand how cosplay contests work. I haven't experienced it. I just know from people telling me how they work. I say all that to say, I don't know how well or not well these changes that Hilton has announced are going to work. I'm willing to give it a chance, because you got to do something to make it work, right?
Right.
Yes, it does need to be fixed. It does need to. I was sitting here like, oh, how do you keep this from happening again legally? I mean, because that's a lawsuit waiting to happen if you say, okay, white people can't show up to the con, or white people can't attend the contest.
And that's the crazy part, because I've been reading a lot of people's reaction to that, and you had people who was actually suggesting that, and I was like, you can't do that.
And there are people who are legit mad that white people were there at all. I'm like, that's not what this is about. You know,
we can't segregate ourselves, man. You're giving the racists what you want. Right. You're giving them what they want.
We just want the focus. We ain't trying to. That's how I look at it. I don't want to exclude people. By all means, come. Like if you down and you know how to behave yourself and not censor yourself, come on through. So
it's just like all you got to do. Like everybody's welcome, but you got to read the room.
Yeah. And I don't, to that point, I'm glad that the woman who won, that was one of the. Now, there are some people who will call it a BS apology. I don't agree. I feel like that was one of the best actual genuine apologies for having effed up that I've ever seen. Like, she acknowledged that, hey, even though my black friend encouraged me to do it, I'm still a grown woman. I still failed to read the room. I still took the spotlight when I shouldn't have. I mean, yes, she did win fair and square. There was nothing wrong technically with her entering, but it was, like you said, it was more of a read the room thing. And even to that, I've seen some cosplayers, some black cosplayers who were like, I would not have wanted to exclude her because these are competitive types of people who actually want to enter a contest. They're like, hey, if there are good people here, I want them in the contest because I don't want to win. And then I go on the con floor and I see this thing that could have won. And I'm like, it's like Vegeta being mad that Goku didn't go Super Saiyan 3 when they fought.
Right.
Yeah, so there are people who feel like that. So there's so many layers to this. It's not as cut and dry as, oh dang, a white woman won. Like,
I would make, what I would do? I would make something like an ally award in the costume contest.
That would work.
Like for the people who aren't blurs, they can enter and win that prize. If their costume's that good, they can get this special award,
Yeah.
But not the big one,
Right. And I think I've heard someone else mention, I forget who did, but someone else mentioned like having a convention favorite or a fan favorite costume where like people who didn't even enter the contest, but somebody walking around and just, if you see somebody with a dope costume just randomly at the convention, like, hey, I'm gonna give you this card, you nominated for like best or whatever, and then have people vote on that. So that sounded like a good idea. I wouldn't, and this is coming from my dance background, I would not want the crowd, like if you're gonna have a crowd judged aspect of it, it needs to be a specific category. This person won the crowd favorite. I wouldn't want the crowd's opinion to affect the judge's opinion on something else. Because I know for me being in dance competitions, if you enter a salsa contest at a club, 9 times out of 9.5, it's going to be a crowd judged contest, meaning you're not going to win based on technique, musicality, timing, like you being on beat or off beat, partner connection, and all of that. The person who does the flashiest moves, whether they were salsa moves or not, is going to win. That would be like saying the team that dunked the most in basketball wins, even though they got blown out by 20 points. So looking at that, if you're going to have the crowd in it, it needs to be a separate category all on itself. That's right. I say all of that to say, as someone else also said, Hilton himself said this, but there are a lot of other people that mentioned this. The costume contest was 1 hour out of the whole convention. Yes, it's a sore spot. Yes, it's bad that it happened. Yes, it needs to be fixed. But to me, yes, I didn't go this year, but I went the past 2 years. And everybody that I know that went, their experience matches what I had the past 2 years. That 1 hour of that one day should not cast that big of a negative thing on the rest of the con.
Yeah, because despite that, I had a great time.
Yeah, same. I had a great time. I felt centered. I felt catered to. I felt like this I'm among my people. I feel like I felt like I was at a black family reunion with family that I like. And
that's exactly how it feels.
That's how I felt. So
and plus I got to debut two new cosplays over there.
Yeah,
I debuted at CM Punk, and I did Superman for the very first time.
Oh, I saw that one. Yeah, that was dope.
And dude, I worked so hard for that cosplay. I was in the gym like crazy.
Man, dude, I feel you. I'm trying to do the same thing because like I'm body positive all day. Like I would, again, for y'all watching, if you want to go, if you are not in shape, but you still want to do a character whose shape doesn't match yours, do that. Do it.
Exactly.
Personally, for me, there's tons of them that I've already done. Like I don't fit the body type for, like I don't have the muscles for Nappa. I don't have the sexy legs and ass for Psylocke. I don't have the build for anybody that I do actually.
Actually, you one of the best Nappas I've seen, bro. Real talk.
Hey, it's the armor that does it. You know, I don't feel that thing out. But yes, thank you. I'm actually going to bring that back for Atlanta Comic Con later this month. Not Atlanta Comic Con. Ranger Stop Con, if I got the name right.
I think you got it right. It was Ranger Stop.
Yes. So because I know Chris Sabat, I don't know how to pronounce his last name properly. Vegeta and
Chris
Sabat, yes, Chris Sabat. He's going to be there, so I was like, I might as well bring Nappa. I got a few repairs to make. But yeah, there's certain characters who I don't care if I don't match the body, but then there's certain ones where I want to match the body for. Because let me see, Sagat from Street Fighter, Bruce Irvin from Tekken. Those two in particular. And Jax, because I'm probably going to do Jax. I just procrastinated with Jax because I was like, I didn't want to do the whole, oh, you're a black guy doing Mortal Kombat, you should do Jax. So I was like, no, I'm going to do it, but he's going to be on the back burner. So, I feel that so much because back when I had long locks, when I started cosplay, I did Scorpion for Mortal Kombat as my third character ever. Right. And
ever since then, people kept saying I should do Cyrax. I was like, look, man, I like Cyrax, but I don't like him that much to cosplay.
Yeah, there's so many, like when I do, my first cosplay was Snake Eyes from G.I. Joe, and I have several other, I did Roadblock. I fit Roadblock, but I also love Roadblock. But then you got people say, oh, you should do Hardball, you should do Doc, you should do Alpine. I'm not doing them just because I'm black. Like, I like them, but I don't, like you said, I don't like them enough to do them. I do like Jax. Jax is Scorpion, Jax, and Rain is up there now simply because he became my favorite after I cosplayed him. I really did Rain just because everybody named Mama does Scorpion, everybody named Mama does Sub-Zero, everybody named Mama does Reptile. Everybody's gonna expect me to do Jax, so let me just go this way. So I figured Rain stood out to me because when in the intro for Mortal Kombat 3 in the arcade, Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 rather, there's that scene where like Rain is doing this long combo on Shao Kahn. I'm like, who the heck is that? So he always stood out to me after that. So I was just like, okay, let me go for somebody nobody does. I'm gonna do him. I got completely off track. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, working hard in the gym. So those are certain ones that I want to be swole for. I want to do my abs because with Jax, Sagat, Bruce Irvin, I'm gonna have my shirt off for those. I want this on point if my shirt's gonna be off. That's just me. If y'all want to go show off your cave with your shirt off, do that. I will cheer you on. I just
the reason why I hit the gym is not because of cosplay. It's just that I never really been in quote unquote shape coming up.
Yeah.
And matter of fact, this is the best I've ever been. And I'm trying to at least see what it's like to have a 6-pack before I hit 40.
Yeah.
Because once you get there, it's gonna be hard to maintain that.
Man, I'm gonna feel bad. I got because I'll be 39 in December, so I got like a year and some change before I hit that. And
yeah, you don't look at it at all, man.
Hey, I just know that. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. That I know how to hide this well, but yeah, I had it, but also back then when I had it, I didn't have any of this. So I've gained muscle here, but I've also gained the waistline. So, but yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. You and I will both get there. I gotta lay off the sweets. That's my weak spot. Like I got a big sweet tooth, Pepsi and chocolate and pizza as well. So
yeah, the bread, that's the biggest part. Man. All that bread.
Man. Yo, all right. So let me see. I'm gonna hit you with some randoms here. You may have already thought about this. I don't know. You are a wrestler. You got to finish it, but it has to be a finishing move that does not exist already. What's your finisher?
It hasn't existed yet. All right.
It can be a remixed version of something that already exists, but it gotta be different.
Like, what I would do is, I always created this move in the WWE games because they had it where you could create your own finisher.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So what I did was I get him in the underhook position and just toss him over my head, get him back up and do it a second time, get him back up, and then put him into a pedigree.
Woo. Okay. I like it. Now what you gonna?
I called that one. What did I call that? Because it's been a minute since. Because WWE, they stopped giving you that option in their future games. So I called it something, but I forgot what I called it. Oh yeah. The B-Ham Headbuster.
B-Ham Headbuster. Okay.
Because I'm from Birmingham, Alabama, and that's what we call it down here, B-Ham.
I like it. I actually came up with one because I've been procrastinating with doing this in Photoshop. I'm gonna take one of my Luchador Black Panther photos, similar to what I did with my ninja formerly known as Rain. I made up all my fatalities for it. So I came up with some moves for Luchador Black Panther. Now this one has already been done. It's basically, you ever played Tekken 4?
Yeah.
So Brian Fury's right punch, right kick throw, where he basically gets you up on the shoulder, swings into a Stone Cold Stunner.
Yeah, they call that the TKO.
The TKO. TKO. Okay.
That's I think a lot of people used it. Tess used to use it. Sable, when she wrestled for a little bit, she did it. Mark Miro.
Yeah, I saw Mark Merrill's version, but when he did it, he looks like he just holds onto your neck and falls. Like it doesn't look like it has it doesn't give you the impact that say Steve Austin does when he actually does a stunner. Like it just looked like, oh, y'all just fell together.
It looks like a cutter. That's what it is. Like the diamond cutter.
It's a cutter and not a stunner.
Yeah, it looks like he's hitting you with the RKO when he twists you around.
Yeah.
Like the diamond cut or something like that. But yeah, a lot of people did the cutter version, but not too many people did the stunner version of that.
Right. So yeah, it would be the stunner version, and I think I'm gonna call it. I've gone back and forth between whether I want to call it the Vibranium Cutter or Warrior Falls, because I came with Warrior Falls because there's that picture of the comic version of Killmonger throwing T'Challa over the waterfall at Warrior Falls. So having him in that same position first, so that's why I came up with that. But the one that I made up in my head that doesn't exist already, I'm gonna call it the heart-shaped herb. It's a mix of the Texas cloverleaf that Dean Malenko used to do.
Oh, that's awesome! But
done in the style of Chris Jericho's Lion Tamer.
Ooh.
You know how the Lion Tamers, they bend your neck all the way back, and he got his knee in the middle of his back. So we've done like that.
And I've been in the Lion Tamer. That is no joke. So,
right. That don't feel good.
So mixing that with the Texas Cloverleaf, that oh my God, man, that is a brutal finisher. Way to go, man! That is awesome.
Thank you. I just because I've been thinking about this for a while, but I just recently thought about that one. I was just watching some old wrestling clips, and I saw Dean Malenko do that, and I was like, wait a minute, I got it. So I decided to mix those two together that way. All right. If you could make your dream wrestling match, any wrestler, anytime in their prime, dead or alive, what match are you making?
I would say I would go up against Randy Savage in an Iron Man match.
Now, what era Randy Savage?
His WWE years when Miss Elizabeth was his manager.
Okay.
Before he teamed up with Hulk Hogan and formed the Powerhouse, the Mega Power.
Okay, so
the Mega Power.
A little bit. Okay.
Because even though I was born in the '90s and the Attitude Era was more my generation.
Yeah.
But I always admired the '80s era too, because the '80s had a lot of memorable characters. Yeah. And one of my favorites from the '80s was a tie between Rowdy Piper and the Macho Man.
Okay. Yeah, because I remember Macho Man when I first started watching wrestling and I could remember it. This was when he had the more vibrant clothes and he always had the long tights. Whereas I think what you're talking about, he only had like the short tights back then, like the
right
back then.
And he had that golden cape he wore to the ring, and he had Macho Man all over the back of the cape, and he always just spin around.
Yeah. See, now I'm like talking with you to make me go. Like I have not super old, but it's a Stars of the '90s wrestling DVD. Like I got it at Walmart for like $9 or something, but like it basically goes. It's mainly Attitude Era, but some of the people that are in it got started before that, so they do have a little bit of Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair, but then also got Diesel and The Rock, Stone Cold, and all of them. I want to watch that, but I need to go dig for some other ones too, though, because like there's just so much out there that I need to rewatch again.
I would have told you to sign up for the WWE Network, but Peacock got all the rights to the WWE library, and you probably don't want to watch the content on Peacock because Peacock had people pretty much editing a whole lot of stuff. They see what the people at Peacock they currently editing out a lot of problematic stuff.
Yeah.
Instead of just putting a warning out on the people that what you're about to see is some sensitive stuff. Like if you edit out stuff, you might as well edit out the entire ECW product,
right?
Or the entire Attitude Era. You know, like people gotta learn that times were much rougher back then. You know?
Yeah, kind of like what Disney does. Like they put that disclaimer. Hey, okay, in a whole lot more professional words. Yeah, we were some racist assholes before, so some of this stuff got sensitive material. We're keeping it on here so that way, we don't act like we didn't always have this on here, so that we can learn from it. So they got that disclaimer on there. So yeah, I feel like they could do that same thing. Like, hey, some of this stuff was from a different era before back when we didn't care about this stuff, and now that we're actually trying to be sensitive to people. So yeah, just having that disclaimer, I agree. Like they could just have that on there as opposed to cutting it out.
And let me tell you, man, when Peacock made the purchase, I saw it coming because before they made the purchase, I checked out Peacock for a little bit. I got excited because Peacock has every single episode of Def Comedy Jam. At least I thought they did.
Wow.
But they censored Def Comedy Jam. Yeah, a lot of they people still say a whole bunch of swear words and everything, but they took out a lot of the lesser known comics that appeared in Def Jam because they were too vulgar. Like I remember they took one of Corey Holcomb's performance out of Def Comedy Jam.
Right.
Oh, like keep him in there, you know? Comedy Jam was rough, bro.
Yeah. I'm so torn with that because on one hand, yes, there are certain things that rightfully so aren't going to fly today. And it's not on some, oh, well, people too sensitive now. It's like, no. This shouldn't have been done in the first place, but people are just now, it's like, I always compare it to, you know, you've been bullied in school and you finally stand up to your bully, but now the bully is offended and saying, no, you didn't stand up to me before. You can't stand up to me now. I'm offended that you're standing up to me now. That's how a lot of people sound when they say, oh, well, everybody's too sensitive now. They're not allowing these things. I know these things should have never been allowed.
In certain cases, that's correct. But in some cases, you're like, really? Come on, man.
Yeah, and even with that's so subjective. Like for me, like the stuff where I draw the line and say, okay, you're really being too sensitive now. That's a different line for somebody else. So it's so. Yeah, that's why I have these feelings about it. Like in general, I'm like, yes, this needs to change. But then on the other hand, I'm just like, this. If you take out so much, it ceases to be that. Like I remember when I was still living, you know, late high school, early college, still living with my parents. I wasn't allowed to listen to any music that had cursing in it. Now I could watch a movie that had cursing, which was backwards to me, but I could listen to music that had cursing in it. So if I bought a rap album, I had to get the edited version from Walmart. So I got Eminem's first album, right? They cut out all the inappropriate words. Like they bleeped out Vicodin, they bleeped out stab, but he could say the S word and the B word all day. So when it came
oh bro, you gave me you brought back a whole lot of funny memories, man. Like I too got all the censored versions of albums.
Yeah. And then and you hear your friend's version and you realize you're missing like 5 songs because sometimes they just cut the song completely out. So when Eminem's second album came out, I just snuck and got the dirty version because I'm like, if I'm gonna hear all the curse words anyway, I might as well hear all the other stuff that wasn't curse words, but they decided to be, you know, to censor them. I'm like,
dude, I had to sneak and get most of my albums because I was into hip hop too, but I was really into metal back then. Like I had to sneak and get Megadeth, Metallica, Iron Maiden. I had to sneak and get all those albums.
Wow. Oh, I was gonna wrap it up, but you just hit a good point there. So you being into metal,
yeah.
Did you and of course being an African American man, did you run into people teasing you for liking something that wasn't stereotypically black?
Yeah, absolutely. Like it wasn't just rock and metal. Like I listened to video game music too back in the day. I listened to pretty much the Streets of Rage soundtrack, Street Fighter, Sonic the Hedgehog, Mortal Kombat, plus the rock and metal. Like one of my favorite bands of all time, man, is POD, and they're the reason I'm still here because I was in a dark, like in my junior year in high school, I was in a very dark place, and their music kind of snapped me out of it. Yeah. So if you get a chance, check out POD. They're really awesome.
So wrestling and rock saved you.
Yep.
Man. But yeah, and I stopped and parked on that for a second just because, like, for those of y'all watching at home, these things don't have color. Rock or any genre of music does not belong to a color. No fandom belongs to a color. All of that, I could keep going on. However, certain things have happened to make it to the point where these things are stereotypically this race or that race, and therefore sometimes we get made fun of by people outside of our folks, and sometimes we get made fun of by people within our people, and we're all trying to smash that. Don't worry, we're all trying to get rid of that, but the reality is that has happened, and you know, we're here to say F all of that. Like, if you first of all, Black folks, we got more roots in, we got more involvement in the creation of rock than a lot of people think. We got people.
Yeah, Chuck Berry.
What's up?
Chuck Berry.
Yeah. There's a lot of people who think that, again, rock isn't a black or white thing, but there are a lot of people who think that it's both white and black people who think that rock is all white, and it's not. But yeah, so we trying to smash these stereotypes, but it's important to talk about this so that way we can get it all out in the air and be done with it completely. It doesn't go away by not talking about it. It goes away by talking about it, so we can just smash the walls down. If we ignore the walls, they'll continue to stay there. That's why I brought that up. So last question. I was going to ask another one, but you hit a good point. Your favorite song, and you can just tell me the level if you don't know the name of it, because I don't know all the names either. Your favorite song from the Streets of Rage 2 soundtrack?
The main title.
Main title?
I don't know why. The main title always just stuck with me, man. Like, because I'd be when I was in high school, I'd be in class and I'd be doing an assignment, and that song just pops in my head out of nowhere to the point that I accidentally hummed it out loud.
Yeah, man. I gotta give a top three because it's hard to pick. So I forget the name of it because if I could look on my phone and pull up the name if I wanted to. I think it's the fourth level where there's that or whatever the level is where you go into that baseball stadium.
Yeah, I remember that one.
You go to the pitcher's mound, and after you beat those two, the big fat guys that can breathe fire. And I love how they changed that, because in Streets of Rage 1, if you try to throw them, they fall on you and you hurt yourself. But from Streets of Rage 2 on, you could actually throw them without any damage to yourself. But that pitcher's mound became an elevator and went down. The song that played then, pretty much in all the Streets of Rages, any song that's playing when an elevator is going down or going up, those songs, the whole soundtrack is fire anyway.
Right.
The elevator songs tend to be pretty fire. So towards the end, the elevator where it kind of goes up slanted and then it goes up, and then all of a sudden you see it turn morning time. That song was pretty fire. And then the final level of Streets of Rage 2, because they mixed the intro to Streets of Rage 1 with the final level of Streets of Rage 1. So they just hit you with a whole bunch of fan service nostalgia for people who played the first one. So it's like, as you're going through, you're just like, oh, kind of like the same thing that happened with, you played the Metal Gear series?
Yeah.
So the end of Metal Gear Solid 4, when you're doing that last fight with a Revolver Ocelot / Liquid Snake.
Right.
And so they basically start playing all the themes from the previous games. So you're like, while you're stressed out trying to beat him, you're also geeking out because they're taking you back to all the previous games too. They know when they knew what they was doing with that one. They hit me right here with that.
And of course, one of my favorite video game songs of all time is Green Hill Zone from Sonic the Hedgehog.
There you go.
And the main title from the main theme song from Donkey Kong Country.
Mm-hmm. See, people be sleeping on video game music. There's a tweet out there from somewhere, and it's ironic that the woman who made the tweet is a gamer. So that really threw me. But she said, "You have no friends if you unironically listen to video game music." What is you smoking?
Dude, like, bruh, like she obviously never played video games, because a lot of video games had bangers. Like Star Fox had some bangers, Donkey Kong had some bangers, Super Mario 64.
I feel like Sonic the Hedgehog, like I feel like Teddy Riley had to have produced that, because it legit sounded like some New Jack Swing type music.
Some of it sounded like Michael Jackson produced.
Yeah. I think I heard that too. Yeah. But I'm like, it was, once I found out that homegirl was a gamer, and for her to say that, I was like, you ain't one of.
I mean, I hate to gatekeep, but man, like, why would you?
Right. That's what I was saying. I was like, I don't want to say it, but you're not really down if you a gamer. Like, and it looked like she does it looked like she does a lot as far as gaming. I mean, not contributes a lot, but more like she does a lot of gaming. So for someone who actually does it, to have that opinion was just backwards as hell to me.
Like, I had one friend, she hadn't played games in years, but when I just played one theme song from a video game, I think it was Tomb Raider.
Uh-huh.
The nostalgia hit her so hard that she started crying.
Music could do it to you.
Yes.
Video games or otherwise, music will do that to you.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, that's the power of, that's how much impact video game has had on a lot of our lives, you know?
Yeah. It is not to be slept on. It is not to be taken lightly. It is not to be discarded as just something for kids. Like, it moves people, for real. All right, my man. So before we get out of here, is there anything you want to get off your chest? Anything you need to say? Anything you want to promote? Anything that people need to know? Let us have it.
Well, go support Blurred Over. I'm, like I told you earlier, I'm a member of Blurred Over, and I try to support the group any way I can. So if you hadn't subscribed, if you hadn't followed Blurred Over, please do. We're also on Spotify. We have podcasts on there. My buddy Skip, the owner of Blurred Over, he's always doing podcasts every Friday. He's always interviewing someone new. So check him out.
Cool.
And I will. And three of us will be at DragonCon this year.
All right, cool. I unfortunately am gonna miss y'all this year. I went back and forth about going, but all this, I was gonna go Sunday specifically for the Black Geeks of DragonCon shoot, but that got canceled. And I was gonna meet up with my G.I. Joe crew on Thursday, but I started a new job Monday, and my schedule is gonna be 11 to 8. And the meetup is usually like 6 to 7. So by the time I get off and drive in, it's gonna be over. So I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna just recharge and just come out hard next year. Hopefully, if people act right, we'll have a legit con season next year, and we can actually be at the same full power. But anyway, where can people find you at? Where can people follow you at?
Follow me on Instagram, static_Jones, and I'm also on TikTok. I do TikTok videos, also static_Jones on TikTok. And I just opened up a Twitter, Jones_static.
Gotcha. So static_Jones everywhere except Twitter. Twitter is Jones_static. That's right?
Right.
Cool.
That's right.
Wonderful. My man, thank you so much for geeking out with me for this time, man. It's been great hanging with you. Hopefully we get to do it in person sometime soon. But yeah, it was an honor having you on here, man.
I was just happy to finally be here, man, because we've been trying to get this done a while.
Yeah. So I'm glad I was like, let me stop procrastinating, because I am prone to do that. And but yeah, glad we made it happen. But that's it, y'all. Y'all have a good night. Have a good time, whatever con you're going to next. Good luck on your cosplay builds. Please hit that like button, that subscribe button, that share button. Do all of that for Static Jones. Do all of that for Blurred Over. And I will see y'all at the next video. Peace.
Later, y'all.